As night falls and everything slips into slumber, John's backyard comes alive with heavy thuds and rustling sounds. These are the signs of a massive wild boar herd, which has repeatedly ravaged his vegetable garden and dug up craters in the yard. After countless sleepless nights, John decides it's time to take action. Today, with iron traps prepared and ready, he sets them up around the house, determined to eliminate these troublesome boars. Follow him as the battle begins. After careful observation, John sets the first trap in a flat area frequently visited by wild boars. The large iron trap requires considerable effort to install. After placing bait inside and thoroughly checking the equipment, he sets up several more traps, preparing for a long, thrilling night. The next morning, John and his wife return to the trap site with eager anticipation. From a distance, chaotic noises signal that the boar herd has been caught. They're not too surprised, as last night, around 8 p.m., the boars had swarmed into the trap to feed. With a simple maneuver, John activated the iron trap, locking them inside. What a sight! Before him is a herd of gray-black boars, not overly large but uniformly sized. They panic, charging into the iron bars, creating resounding crashes that echo through the forest. About 20 boars, each one fierce and formidable. Without hesitation, John draws his rifle and swiftly takes down each boar. They pay the price for the countless nights of destroying the vegetable garden and threatening the peace of his home. Once finished, the entire herd is quickly removed from the trap and loaded onto the truck. In addition to the trap already set, last night John activated several others, particularly in the backyard. Around 10 p.m., a massive herd of boars swarmed in, silently munching on the bait scattered on the ground. Waiting for the perfect moment, John swiftly triggered the traps, locking the troublemakers inside. This morning, brimming with uncontainable excitement, John and his wife hurried to check the traps. The sight left both John and the neighbors in awe. The trapped herd was unprecedented in size, including massive boars with distinctive gray-black coats and smaller ones with mottled or striped patterns like watermelons. This was undoubtedly the largest herd John had ever caught. After taking down the entire herd with his rifle, the neighbors eagerly pitched in to help John remove the boars from the traps. They didn't just assist, they shared in the joy of eliminating the pests that had caused so much trouble for the area. With their help, John quickly loaded the boars onto the truck, saving immense time and effort. With this triumph, they certainly deserve to celebrate with a hearty wild boar feast. It's wonderful to share the joy with neighbors and savor the fruits of a thrilling night of hunting together. After dealing with the trap near the house, John moved on to check the final trap located at the edge of the forest. The distance wasn't too far, so he decided to take action that morning. Upon arriving, he noticed the trapped boar herd wasn't large, but with about 10 animals, it was still an excellent haul. The boars crowded together, frantically searching for an escape, but their efforts were futile against the sturdy iron trap. This time, John decided to capture them all alive. To prepare, he brought a large truck bed and planned to herd each wild boar into it. However, the task was far from easy. The boars were cunning, sensing the imminent danger and resisting fiercely. Each boar fought to break free, making it harder than ever to control them. It took a long time, but John and his wife eventually managed to coax each boar into the truck, concluding a tense but highly successful hunting trip. The final task of the day was to check the large trap John had set up the previous night. Since the boar herd had been confined since evening, there was no need to rush. The previous night, in his excitement, John had decided to check the trap right away. Upon arriving, he couldn't help but feel satisfied. The entire herd was securely contained within the iron trap. With that, they returned home, eagerly anticipating the results to be harvested the next morning. This morning, they returned to the trap's location, and eliminating the wild boars was much easier. The herd included large boars with thick, glossy black fur, creating an impressive sight. Now, the remaining task was to load the entire herd onto the truck and transport them back. Although John was still considering how to handle the boars, the immediate priority was to complete the job at hand. These results called for celebration, and perhaps a wild boar feast would be a fitting reward for the local community. Never before had John trapped so many wild boars, and it was truly an exhilarating feeling. With the help of neighbors and meticulous preparation, he successfully eliminated the destructive herd.
We got a little battery left in it.
Wild boars, creatures once thought to lurk only in deep forests, have become a true nightmare for rural communities. They rampage through fields, destroying crops, attacking livestock, and even targeting humans. Faced with this growing threat, farmers and hunters are forced to take action to protect their livelihoods. How have they confronted these ferocious beasts? Join us on a thrilling and suspenseful journey to hunt wild boars in today's video. Join us at the snowy hills of Montana, USA, in the depths of winter, where wild boars relentlessly churn the frozen ground, wreaking havoc on ecosystems and crops. We've come fully equipped with firearms, cold weather gear, thermal binoculars, and all necessary tools. The hunt in the frigid wilderness officially begins. Tracking footprints etched in the thick snow for an hour, we suddenly heard a strange noise ahead. All of a sudden, a dark shadow shot out from the bushes like an arrow slicing through the air. Immediately, I raised my rifle, locked onto the target, and pulled the trigger. The gunshot rang out clean and decisive. The beast collapsed, tumbling a few times on the snowy ground before lying still. It seems my gunshot startled the other prey nearby. From a distance, another wild boar emerged. Swiftly pulling the trigger, the bullet struck its head, leaving the beast no chance to escape. The winter battlefield ended with victory for the steely hunters. Now, join me for another hunting adventure in the scorching summer of the American South, where the blistering heat drives wild boars to gather around fields and water sources. Firearms, binoculars, and tracking gear are ready. A new battleground, a new hunt begins now. Trekking along the hillside at dawn, we swiftly set out to hunt the ferocious beasts in the area. Suddenly, a rustling sound nearby signaled something approaching. A dark shadow burst from the thicket. I immediately drew my rifle, aiming straight at the target. The gunshot rang out decisively. The beast collapsed instantly, completely subdued by the hunter's barrel. The hunting dogs were unleashed, swiftly picking up the scent and driving the prey toward us. Moments later, from the edge of the hill, a massive beast suddenly charged forward. Unfazed, I raised my rifle, locking onto the target. The gunshot echoed through the still air, and in an instant the beast collapsed onto the parched ground, unable to resist. A few minutes later, another wild boar was struggling to climb up the rocky cliff. I raised my rifle, squinted to align the shot, and pulled the trigger without hesitation. The bullet whistled through the air, striking the target dead on. The beast lurched violently, then staggered, sliding down the hillside. Not far away, a teammate of mine was swiftly shouldering his rifle, eyes locked on a target sprinting wildly across the hills. The prey tried to accelerate, but mere seconds later, a sharp crack echoed. All movement ceased. IT collapsed without time to react. Today's journey concludes with breathless pursuits through untamed wilderness, where neither the harsh winter nor the blazing summer could halt the hunter's steps. All actions were carried out in strict accordance with legal regulations in designated hunting areas in the USA. wild boars, creatures once thought to lurk only in deep forests, have now invaded the plains, causing unimaginable damage. They not only destroy crops, but also leave villagers living in fear as night falls. Faced with this crisis, what will farmers and hunters do to reclaim peace? Join us in a heart-pounding pursuit where the line between man and beast is drawn by a single gunshot. First, join us as we step into the chilly night of rural America, where giant wild boars exploit the cover of darkness to ravage fields and livestock pens. Guns, thermal binoculars, infrared lights. Everything has been meticulously prepared for a heart-pounding hunt under the moonlight. We drove for about an hour to reach the hunting area. The silence was eerie and unsettling. From a distance, a herd of beasts was quietly tearing through a cornfield. I quickly raised my rifle, locked onto the target, and pulled the trigger. The gunshot shattered the night's silence. One boar was hit and collapsed to the ground. The rest scattered in panic, fleeing in all directions. Not missing the opportunity, we decided to track down the surviving boars. A target was spotted. Swiftly raising my rifle, I pulled the trigger. The sharp crack of the bullet echoed through the silent night. One beast collapsed, motionless on the cold grass. The night hunt concluded with victory for the season hunters. After a tense night, the first light of dawn dispelled the darkness. Seizing the moment, we swiftly moved up the mountain for a daytime hunt, where the prey roams actively under the radiant sunlight. Join us as we continue this thrilling pursuit of the beasts. Silently weaving through dense bushes, a dark shadow suddenly darted out in front of me. Reacting in a split second, I raised my rifle and fired. The blast echoed through the mountains and forest. The beast struck squarely in its midsection. It collapsed onto the dry ground, thrashing briefly before gradually losing its ability to resist. The gunshot shattered the silence, sending the surrounding wild boars into chaos. The frantic barking of hunting dogs signaled the presence of other prey. As expected, a group of wild boars was hiding, hoping to evade my rifle. Without hesitation, I swiftly raised my gun and locked on the target. A clean shot rang out, and the lead boar was hit, collapsing in the middle of the forest without making a sound. As we descended the mountain, we encountered stray boars from the herd busily foraging. Aiming from a distance, I fired a single shot at the target. It collapsed and lay still instantly. The remaining boar fled in panic, leaving behind an eerily silent scene. The daytime hunt concluded with the giant beast herd as they defeated. Today's journey of night and day hunting has come to a close. From the silent darkness to the radiant daylight, each moment brought its own challenges. But with seamless coordination and precise shots, we emerged victorious. Everything was conducted in legal areas and in compliance with regulations.
Recently, a ferocious herd of wild boars has appeared right in residential areas, causing chaos and endangering the safety of the people. They are aggressive and destructive, rampaging through properties and even attacking humans. This situation cannot continue, so a team of professional hunters has taken action. Can we stop these wild beasts in time? Watch now to witness this intense confrontation. Wild boars are formidable creatures with high adaptability and a strong survival instinct. When their numbers grow uncontrollably, they spill onto streets, penetrate deep into residential areas, and create numerous threats. Not only do they destroy crops and ravage farmland, causing heavy losses to farmers, but they also attack livestock and even threaten human lives. The situation not only disrupts daily life, but also poses a major challenge in controlling and managing these wild animals. In the dead of night, we set out, weapons in hand, determined to eliminate this threat. In a nearby field, the wild boar herd roamed freely, digging up the soil in search of food, completely unaware of the danger lurking in the shadows. Waiting for the perfect moment, locked onto our targets, and pulled the trigger. Panic erupted among the herd as they scattered in all directions. One by one, they fell under a relentless barrage of gunfire. This high-stakes pursuit demanded precision and skill, showcasing our expertise in hunting. This was not just a battle for survival, but a mission to restore peace and safety for the community. Night hunting for wild boars is an extreme challenge. The lack of light limits visibility, but we have the advantage of infrared scopes and thermal imaging. Most importantly, precision shooting is crucial. A well-placed shot can take down the target instantly, but a single mistake could turn us from hunters into the hunted in the dangerous darkness. Wild boars possess an incredibly sharp sense of smell. Just a faint scent of us carried by the wind could send the entire herd into a frenzy. That's why we must maintain absolute silence and position ourselves downwind to avoid detection. Nighttime is when wild boars are most active, roaming in herds to devastate farmlands. Although their night vision is not the best, they navigate skillfully using their acute sense of smell and exceptional hearing. Even the slightest sound or an unfamiliar scent can put them on high alert. Moving in groups also helps them stay oriented and protect one another. But tonight, luck is not on their side. We locked our sights onto our targets and pulled the trigger, taking down these destructive creatures without hesitation.